Yeah,
Good
I like
morning. Yeah, you like it. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Pivotal Podspective, a show where Adrian and I usually chat to people from all over the place about their pivotal ideas, tips and tricks to help you guys level up. But we don't have a guest tonight because they had to reschedule. So we're doing a special this evening, aren't we, Adrian? With my co-host, of course.
Adrian Dorbantu.
Okay, we're starting really well here tonight.
Yeah, but basically, Elliot was telling me that we're going to start with the new intro, and I then knew we're actually going to go live, and that's why I said I like it at the beginning.
Oh dear! Listen, today.
So tonight we're pivoting. No, that's what we're doing because we don't have a guest. So we had to pivot.
We're going to talk about something massively pivotal. But before we do that, I'm going to wish you a happy World Chocolate Day, Adrian. Have you had chocolate today?
I had to.
Did you?
I had, but I didn't knew it was a chocolate day. It just
it's World Chocolate Day. So happy.
My body felt that. He was like calling me, when I seen the chocolate. Said, Adrian, you must eat these chocolates.
So you're telling me then that the post that goes up a while before the show, you didn't actually read what goes up or went up on your page either.
I was working, but look, we have a trust relation between us, so that's why I knew you're gonna put something there that's not gonna. I don't have to review it necessarily.
Well, listen, it is World Chocolate Day. We've got something very, very tasty in store for you guys this evening. Adrian and I are going to be chatting about creating unique content, the ultimate method for you creating unique content, which, listen, we've spoken to a lot of people over the last couple of months. I've done podcasts before with lots of different people. It's one of the most difficult things to do, right, Adrian? You create unique content. Audio, video, copywriting, images, whatever you put out there, somebody seems to have already bloody well done it, haven't they?
Exactly. Yes. Every time on everything. So that's why you need to be a bit unique sometimes.
Yeah. So we're going to be chatting tonight about how to create unique content, the thought pattern, the thought processes to go through, the things to look at, and so. Hopefully, by the end of today's show, you're going to have a few little bits you can take from it, which is going to help you to create unique content for social media posts, for blogs, for doing podcasts, for everything. You can utilize this for absolutely everything in your business. But being original isn't about being the first to do it. In fact, in this day and age, Adrian, you don't want to be the first, do you?
No, unless you have something extremely, extremely special and you've prepared that very, very well and you have loads of money to throw at it.
There you go. And you have loads of money to throw at it. That's the key.
Exactly.
If you've got something unique and you've got an investor and you've got something that you can put out into the market and you know how to do it and you've got a lot of money, then great. Otherwise, you don't really want to be the first. If you're a micro business, if you're a small business, or if you're a growing business, you don't generally want to be the first to do it. What you want to do is find out what other people are doing, find out what they're not doing, and maybe focus on that.
Exactly. Adapt that to your own style, or just spice it a bit with your own thoughts and style, and then just replicate that and see exactly how it works for you.
Yeah, definitely. So starting off, right? It isn't about being the first to do it. It isn't about creating, just mad content just to grab people's attention. It's got to have some sort of weight to it. So we've spoken about this on quite a few shows and had guests on talking about target audience. Now. We're going to go through a few things tonight. And in fact, we could do a few shows on this, to be honest, because there's always different ways of looking at things. But keeping your target audience firmly in mind has got to be the first point of call when you're starting a business, when you're scaling up a business, when you're growing it, but particularly when you want to start marketing yourself and getting yourself out there. Personal brand, the product brand and the company brand, right? So, whatever you're doing, whatever you're looking at, then look at your target audience. So, Adrian, what would be your first sort of, way to maybe look at that? If you're going to do, we've talked about this before. what would be the best way to look, the first place to look at? We've talked about this before. Facebook, we're going to look at their ads, aren't we?
Exactly, yeah. So you first of all obviously need to choose some of your competitors,
Yeah,
understand exactly who is your competition, and then Facebook offers a Facebook ad library where you can just go and spy them and see exactly what ads they are doing, right? And maybe who engage with those ads and things like that. That's where I would look. But in the same time, like I said, these days you can get very valuable information from Facebook groups as well. You have loads of Facebook groups based exactly on the niche that you're doing. So I'm just give an example. Now I worked with someone in the past, and they're doing soy wax candles, all right? And actually, there are groups there with over 50,000 people who are just interested in soy wax candles, all right, all over the
right,
world.
right.
So you can go there and see exactly what they want, what they do, and get some inspiration from over there.
Uh-huh.
And also another really good or another really good place to understand your target audience is go to the company's profiles, especially on the review platforms like Google reviews or Facebook reviews and Trustpilot reviews, and look at their reviews and
Yeah.
see exactly what people say about them, so you can understand what you need to improve onto yours, or maybe what's missing from them, and you can do better on yours. And those are some of the places of forums as well. But I think those are the main ones where I would go.
Absolutely. I mean, you're absolutely right. Go into groups, start engaging with people, have a look at what other people are doing, but and ask questions. I mean, we can all come up with wonderful ideas in the middle of the night, or you're on a drive and things like that. But then taking that idea and knowing that actually that's going to work for potential target audience is a different matter. So talking about that, yeah, we definitely know, and we've talked about this in other shows, but finding out your target audience and getting to know them and understanding them is absolutely key. Generating those ideas, as I said, middle of the night, going for a drive, note them down,
Yeah, you
in
have to
your
put them
phone.
down.
Yeah, note them down in your phone, in a book, wherever it is. Make sure you note bits and pieces down, because you might drive past a shop that sells similar things to what you're doing. You may see something online. You might see a vehicle drive past. I'm not being funny. I was at the side of the M25 the other day after having in a breakdown moment, and I had to try and come up with something in my mind. Remember, I was trying to come up with a name for something, and in essence, what I'm doing is I'm watching all of the trucks going past, all the vehicles, all the sign writing and everything, trying to come up with some sort of idea that's going to work. Not all of them were good. In fact, none of them were. But it starts you on a different mind pattern, a different way of thinking, I think. When you see a word, or you see something, or a phrase, or what, in these big companies, if they're on the side of a truck, it's a big firm, So have a look at what these people are doing, and take inspiration from what other people are doing.
Yeah, to be honest, it amazes me how many times I have discussion with people and sometimes even customers, and ask them, okay, so who is your competition? What do you do different? They said, I have no competition, or I have no idea, never looked at.
Yeah.
So why you wouldn't?
Yeah.
Why, if your competition sells a service, try to buy that service first and see exactly what they do and how they do it. If they sell
Yeah.
a product, again, just buy that and see exactly how is that working, what they do after, what's their customer care process, and all those kind of things,
Yeah.
and try to look at that.
Yeah. Look, drawing mind maps. This is something I've got a big whiteboard in the office now. They go on there. It may not make a huge amount of sense, but you start creating something, don't you? You've got all these different ideas. You've looked at what everybody else is doing. You've got a rough idea of your target audience. You're not necessarily going to be bang on straight away, but start putting that down. Whiteboards for me are a must, because it's a big area to write things down, and it just works for me, because I can sort of draw little, flow charts and diagrams and charts and all sorts, and you start to pull those, or everything that's in your head. It's no good up here, is it?
Yeah, I think now that you're saying, and knowing how you work, I think I need to invent a digital whiteboard, to be honest, massive one, and like you can write on it, and you can just save them, like save as, and just give that a title or something, and then you can go back to it.
They're available now. You can get those, can't you? So you're a bit late to invent that, Adrian, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I've never worked with whiteboards and not my type, but yeah, I probably there.
Okay, good point. Then I do, because I like it to be visual there in front of me. That's the creative side, your analytical side. So what do you do then? I mean, just because I work like that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to work for
Well,
everybody.
I work with whiteboards and more in on a screen, or like on my own laptop and or my own monitor, stuff like that. Obviously, you need a big monitor in order to do that. But you've seen I use some software which you can map different journeys or different funnels and those kind of things. That's what I do.
Yeah.
But the most basic one, usually what I do, I just write notes. So I start a new Word document, or I actually use a Microsoft OneNote quite a lot, and that's where I
Okay.
write my first draft of the project all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they need to make sense in my head, and I'm very like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and I just number them, and then I go back and actually look at them and refine them if it's necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. And knowing each other brings me nicely to brainstorming. A massive amount to be taken from chatting to people that you trust, or that you look up to, that you've worked with in the past, that you're working with now. Because even if they work for you, they can come up with ideas that you wouldn't necessarily. They may have heard you say things. They may already see things in the business that may be a good idea to them, and you sort of may poo-poo these things. And I don't mean poo-poo as in poo-poo, but may sort of sideswipe things. But in fact, listen to what everybody has to say. I'm not being funny. Listen to your kids if you've got kids as well. They often come out with gems when you're looking at things, because they've got this unpreconceived idea about everything in life. And that's actually what you want sometimes. You want people without a preconceived idea, people that are outside of your industry, possibly. And also that brings me to a great masterminds, Adrian. Masterminds are such a powerful thing. If you don't know what masterminds are, we have talked about them in previous shows, and we are going to have a very, very special guest coming on in the next couple of months, who literally does some of the most amazing masterminds on the planet, who I spoke to recently. I know you know about that. I'll keep his name to ourselves for now because we're getting booked in. But listen, I've been on masterminds. I think they're an incredibly powerful tool. What a mastermind is, if you guys don't know, is that, and they do a lot of them online now as well. There's a lot, because obviously everything's virtual and it's remote. There's been a lot of new masterminds that have come up. In America, they love them. Over here, we've definitely taken them and started working with them a lot more. But what you'll do is you'll get a number of different people, generally in different businesses as well, and different arenas, different trades. And what you'll do is you'll talk about a win or a challenge that each person has, and then everybody else puts their 2 pennies worth in, as we'd call it in the UK. But they'll put in their idea, something they may well have experienced before, something they've had to overcome, and so you start getting these bits of input from all of these different people that have got different experiences in business. They may be new, they may have been in business for many, many years. Either way, everybody's point is valuable, because again, it triggers something different. It makes you think differently, and you can pick up stuff from different people.
Yeah, the idea is, I think what happens, and people are going to realize, if you decide to start on an entrepreneurial journey, or be entrepreneur, go on a business path and all this, most of the friends or people that you're hanging out in, the circles that you're hanging out before, they're going to change no matter what. If you want to be successful, you need to stay with like-minded people, because otherwise, especially when you start a new business, lots of people are probably going to say, yeah, it's not going to work and stuff like that. You don't want to be discouraged, so you want to stay with people where you can learn things from. And I think that's why masterminds are really great, because you not necessarily that you meet people exactly in the same industry like you, but you meet people, who are passionate about business. They're entrepreneurs. They want to grow bigger. They want to do great things and all that. And that's how you learn loads from them from you, and all that kind of stuff. And that's a really powerful networking event as well, So
Yeah.
again, that's where we come with loads of ideas. Just write them wherever you want, and
Yeah.
those are again content ideas for you, because you never know what you might get from there, to be honest.
Exactly, and I think learning what other people have done in a different industry or in a different time, you can often take what they have done in their own industry and just pivot a little, just utilize that, edit it a little bit, tweak it, make it your own, and then use that. Because if it's worked in another industry, there's a fair chance that that's just a method or just a bit of content that works. So definitely in a mastermind, bring up those things. Creating unique content is a massively challenging thing. Marketers do this on a regular basis. Most marketers, I think it's sort of 60 to 80% of decent marketers will create one decent piece of unique content a day for their clients or for their own business to get their message out there, to get things out there. And again, that's a difficult thing to do if you're doing that every day. Even if you're just doing it, just the weekdays, you've still got hundreds of posts, hundreds of bits of content that you've got to create. So bring it up in a mastermind. Bring it up with a group of people that you're talking to. If you're going to have, listen, there's loads of online networking things now. They've all moved online. Bring it up in a conversation. Talk to a marketer that's in the group. I mean, BNI, for example, have always got somebody that does marketing, digital marketing, social media marketing in it. All of these other networking events that are now online, that will be going back to face at some stage in the near future. All of those will have a marketer in there, digital marketing, physical marketing, whatever you're online, offline, however you class it, they're there. So they'll probably have ideas for you. And there's content out there, Go to YouTube, check that out as well. There's loads of places to look at this stuff.
I'd say probably one of the best methods is actually read books. That's what I would do, definitely. Just read books about marketing and about stuff, and you're gonna get loads of information from over there. Just because the reason why I say read books, it's just because when you read books, you tend to be just you and the book, and you're a bit more focused when you do that, and you tend to get more information. I know it's not necessarily your case, Elliot, but
I hope there's other people that listen to and watch this show that can't, it seems, get the time to read books, but are still successful, because it's not something I do. But there's audio books as well. There's abbreviated versions of books as well these days. There's often things like that. So if you don't have the time, you can still pick up that knowledge. Or listen to podcasts. There's loads of podcasts out there.
Oh yeah,
definitely. And there's lots of marketing guys that do podcasts that I'm hoping will give you loads of free, valuable information as well. So that's one place to find.
But just to give you an idea about repurposing some things and actually getting content and creating all that. Today I've watched something on TikTok, and I want to bring TikTok in discussion because it's one of the best platform out there right now, especially for me. And I will tell you why. There are loads of silly things, loads of silly challenges, and loads of silly people there, right? But if you train TikTok to show you things that you're interested in, it's a very, very powerful tool. So now about 80% of the content that I see is not challenges anymore, stuff like that. It's actually people in my own industry that are giving really, really valuable tips. And that starts from copywriting, business tips, marketing tips, whatever you want, the design tips and everything. So that's what I see now. And today I've seen a guy basically. I was saying he's selling Vaseline. That's what he sells. It's
I won't ask why you've been looking at that.
I don't know if TikTok was actually showing to me. So but
so you've been looking for Vaseline, have you?
Yeah, probably. I have no idea, or maybe TikTok heard me when I was talking about Vaseline. Yeah, but the guy said I've sold over between $3 and $4 million worth of Vaseline in, I don't know, about a year or something like that, which is loads of money. And people said, "How the hell do you sell that?" Well, I've sold it to golfers. So why the hell did you sell it to golfers? What's the connection into? It's because golfers, are stupid people. And what we do, actually, if you put Vaseline on your cross or whatever,
it doesn't apply to every golfer, of course. We were,
Exactly, yeah, that's what he said. So we do this, and he said the ones which are not good, they tried loads of tricks. And apparently, if you put it on the golf thing, when you hit the ball, it actually helps with the friction, and you have a better accuracy and stuff like that.
Really?
So he repurposed the standard Vaseline exactly and gave it just to like Vaseline for golfers. Obviously, it was the same product. Doesn't really matter. It was nothing different. But just because he repurposed the market and he put it in that way, he made loads of money with that. Same like I've seen for a client of mine, and I was telling him he's selling first aid kits, and I've seen loads of first aid kits for dogs. There is a very slight difference. I have no idea. There is a very slight difference, between the standard one and the one for dogs. But the one for dogs, it's a niche already, and it sells like crazy just because it says it's for dogs. So,
I mean, listen, you find a niche. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is, does it? If that's in your industry and you can find something to work on, then why not? I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
if Vaseline and dogs, you couldn't combine the two, could you?
Well, you can, but you need to go into the sex industry for dogs, and we just don't leave that out.
I don't know how we got onto that one, but yes. So the Vaseline for golfers, quite interesting.
Mhm.
So they've taken something that's an everyday thing and then found
Exactly.
a use for it. But I
Exactly.
mean,
And not just that, he sold over $4 million, worth of that. So it's just a massive amount.
that's mental. I mean, but that shows that sort of understanding your target audience, and finding a product that's completely left field. That's that way. Left field is quite a good thing to do. And so there's always opportunities out there, isn't there? If people say, "Oh, there's no opportunities. Everybody's doing everything." Yeah, there are. Of course, most people are doing something with something that you're going to look at. That's for sure. If you come up with a brand new idea that you think is brand new, the minute you start looking for website names and start seeing who else is out there, you'll find out there's many people doing what you want to do. But
Exactly.
find that Vaseline type product that is going to give them some benefit to what they do over and above what they're already doing. Just find that little niche. Sean Young has said hi. We're really good.
No.
Thanks very much, Sean. Thanks for the little shout out. Yeah, I'm good. Mum hasn't joined us this evening. I mean, where's she? What's she doing? Probably relaxing in Spain somewhere.
Well, yeah.
So doing your research is absolutely key as well. Target audience. Finding something that's different, your differentiator. We've talked about this in the past as well. But doing thorough research as well. What's the best way of doing research for you? Would you say, Adrian, when you go to do research? Because bearing in mind, I know you're analytical. What do you do? What's your first point of call?
Well, but that's exactly the same when we say about finding your audience, or now we're saying about research, product research. What do you
Yeah,
refer
product,
more?
service, whatever. Yeah.
So obviously, I'm trying again it's exactly the same like when you're looking for your competition. You try to go into groups, see exactly what people are talking about, see if you can see the same keyword or the same phrase, mentioned. Yeah, right. Hello, Elliot's mom.
Hi, Mum. Mum's just said
Yeah.
hello. Anybody's listening, she always does.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what I'm doing now. Obviously, I'm not doing many products and things like this. And the industry, I mean, it's a very big industry, and I don't know, it's quite easy. Obviously, that things are but actually, even in my industry, right? So I'm specialized mainly in chatbots. So the reason why I went on chatbots just because digital marketing it's a really big industry. I
Yeah.
wanted to do something a bit more niched, and that was chatbots. And also, what I've done, I actually looked to see for chatbot on Google, how many times it's been searched, articles about that, how many times it popped up in the last few years, And then I also look for groups like Facebook groups and I want to see how big they are, right? And obviously I found one which is really, really big, the one from ManyChat, and I said, okay, so there's definitely a market for this, right?
Mhm.
It's still a niche, but there is a market for this, and that's how I went and actually specialized in this.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And as I said, yeah, Facebook groups are definitely a great source for getting involved with conversations, and they like people to get involved as well. They like people to engage with posts and start conversations, and but they also don't like you to be selling. So you've really got to be asking questions to get the engagement, to asking other people in the group for feedback and stuff like that, rather than just trying, oh, I've got this product, what do you think of it? Because the likelihood is the admin probably won't put that post up because in essence you're trying to sell. But what they do like is people that are curious and inquisitive and also want answers, but also want to find out answers from other people as well.
Yeah, like let's take, I've seen in some of the groups, like I said, people that develop Chrome extensions, right? And they just go and ask, so guys, I'm trying to develop something here, and it's this Chrome extension that's going to sort this issue. Do you guys think, do you have that issue? Is it worth me investing some time in it and all that? There are loads of people that would like to see something like this, or they're spending too much time with that. And obviously, if you get, most of the time you get loads of answers from people. They can be negative, positive, doesn't matter. But people usually like to get involved in that, especially if you put a poll as well. That's very, very, very useful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's free rather than paying other platforms to do market studies,
Yeah.
and that I would definitely suggest to everyone.
So we sort of may sound like that we're going off subject a little bit, but it's about finding stuff out. It's if you want to be different to other people that are doing the same product or service that you're doing, then find out as much as you can. Fill yourself up. In fact, fuck your head up, but overthinking and overlooking at it. Then take a step back, have a look at all your notes, screw up and throw away probably 50, 60, 60% of what you have written down, because it's going to be up here anyway once you've written it down. And then you start piecing it together. Get your big whiteboard, start noting those things down, start grouping them up, and start getting an idea about how you want to get that unique bit of content put together. If you've got that,
Exactly.
if you've got some bullet points and things, you can then start looking at an image. You can then start looking at what video you want to create, what sort of podcast you want to do with somebody, if you want to get on a show, and what sort of copy you want to write. So it may go, well, yeah, they're only bullet points, they're only ideas, but they form something. And you still want it to be different from other people. Remember, unique content is the key to getting yourself noticed, and not just getting yourself noticed once, but religiously getting yourself noticed, and keep those people coming back to you as well. Determining relevant keywords. We've got this noted down here as well. People search for keywords. We've talked about this before. There's a Chrome extension, isn't there? Or Chrome plugin, I should say. Is it an extension plugin? I don't know what the difference is.
Yeah, extension. It's all right.
No, I've used this before when putting websites and information together and stuff like that. I can't remember what it's called, but it lists it up on the right hand side, doesn't it, of how relevant the search words are. Can you remember the name of that?
No, I can't remember the name of that. But everything that you're discussing, because I used to be an Amazon seller, takes me back to that. For everyone, if they want to understand about the content and the business and all that, you need to look exactly how Amazon is working and what it takes for you to be successful on selling on Amazon.
Yeah.
So what you do technically is just starting from scratch. You look at products. Everyone or every course is teaching you that you can come up with unique ideas, but again, they're very, very difficult usually to come up with unique ideas and start on a market like Amazon. You look at products that are selling well or very well. Okay, then you look at their ratings and feedback and see exactly what people are complaining about, and obviously you have an idea what you need to improve in your next product. Then you create the whole plan around that and the whole story and say why your product is better than the other one, right? Or than your competitors. And you need to have some bullet points and just put them. They need to be in visual form. They need to be in good copywriting or text form. Obviously, audio, video, all those kind of things, because you need to go probably on YouTube to have some videos. You need to go on your website to have some ideas about that. And first of all, it's your online platform where you're selling, Amazon. You need to have great images and great description, there are great bullet points and all that. So all these process, it's like unique content that you have to create. Even though there are competitors or products like yours on Amazon, you need to come up with your own unique selling point or your own unique ideas over there, just to make it bigger. And same with the keywords. You have extensions there. You need to analyze exactly the keywords, who you're competing with, why, which one is the best or relevant keyword, and bids and stuff like that. But keywords are extremely important, since we can put them on YouTube videos, on Facebook posts or Facebook videos as well. And that's why sometimes if you just exactly, yeah. So if you upload something on Facebook, for example, don't just leave it like that. You can add tags to that video, right? And people are going to find you way easier if you upload things like that and you put the correct tags in.
But SEO as well. I mean, this is useful for SEO, isn't it? You may not have the money or the budget to put money into SEO to start off with. You may want to be starting your business up, and bootstrapping as you go along the process, which I absolutely recommend that you do, because it keeps things nice and tight. You don't get carried away. But if you use those words now, they're always going to be useful. If they're in your posts or in their blogs or on your website, wherever they are, they will pay off at some stage. So get into the habit of finding out what those words are. And there's also, if you are going to be doing headings to a YouTube video and things like that, there's also places you can search for those headings and see how they rate. We are yet to get ourselves above about 70%, I think, which is a pretty good heading for a video on YouTube. But use the same for headings for posts as well. If you want to grab people's attention, then the first line you want to do in that post needs to be something short, snappy, and grabs people's attention. That's going to help to your unique content. Then go into the body of that as well. I will talk about why we're going to go through this in a minute. Towards the next 10 minutes, we're going to talk about something how we're going to help you moving forward with this as well. That's why I wanted to chat about this tonight. So, in answer to your question before we went live, Adrian, yes, I think we'll see plant. But deciding how to present the content brings me quite nicely up to that bit. That I think is very, very important. The heading, the body. I don't think you want to overdo it these days. I mean, you might correct me here, Adrian, but posts, whether they're paid ads, whether they're organic, I think going back a couple of years ago, you would have maybe had 4 paragraphs maybe. And then you've got your hashtags on Instagram, maybe a couple of hashtags you might stick on Facebook these days as well. But you've got a heading, you've got a body, you're going to tell them a little bit about it, and you're going to basically give them a little bit of a taster or sort of a seed plant, as I said. So you're going to plant a seed, going to let them think about, oh, that's quite interesting. I don't know that you do want that all the time now, do you? I think the shorter, punchier stuff, because in essence, if you do audio, video, sorry, yeah.
You need that for the cold audience, like very, very punchy, short, and all that kind of things, right? And then you can go with the long sales forms and or no more text and things like that to a warmer audience. But for cold one, it's very difficult. So that's why you need to have the right image, right title, right headline. It just needs to attract you, and that needs to be done very, very quickly. In the first few seconds. Otherwise, everything is lost. And sometimes I've seen people even forget about the audio. Especially if you have a video, if you have a crappy soundtrack, and just people are not going to look at that video anymore. And I know people are looking on mute now, but the ones which are actually looking with and they have the speakers on or the headphones on and stuff like that, they're going to move out very, very quickly if they don't like the tune, because that's the first thing that they hear. And if that interferes with the image, it's all gone.
Yeah, for sure. We haven't talked about it, but we are going to come to it, of course. The audio and video side of things, rather than just the copy and the content and stuff like that and images. You can do a lot of it, but you've got to get them. You've got to get something sort of in there straight away at the beginning of that video, and there is a process to doing that. Something that we're going to be looking to help people with as well. Because you want to get them hooked, don't you? You want to get them hooked on that, whether it be that first header, whether it be the first things that you say, or whatever it is that you want to grab people's attention. And I'm not saying that you're going to get this right straight away. There's no guarantee that you're going to get this right on the 4th or 5th or 10th attempt. But generally, if you're doing, most of this stuff is free that you can do on social media anyway. So you can practice it and see what responses you get before you go, do you know what? I've got it. And do you know what? That's got really good response. And I think that's going to work as a paid ad. Then try it out. But try all these things to start off with. Do not think for 1 minute that you are going to nail this overnight. If you do, you're very lucky. You've got a very unique service and you've just happened to hit something right. There are people out there that do it.
Exactly.
9 times out of 10, the most successful businesses and companies, products, services that are out there on the planet have gone through utter shit to get there, beating themselves up, getting things wrong, retry.
Yeah, but that is because no matter at what step are you in your journey, you always need to test things out, right? It doesn't matter if you have 1 year of experience, you're just starting, or you have 10 years of experience. You always need to test things out, right? Because things are changing quite a lot these days, and that's what I would do no matter what, right? Do split test, A/B test, images, headline titles, whatever you want, videos and stuff like that. Audiences always just split test. Doesn't matter if it's an email, if it's an ad, if it's a blog article or landing page, whatever it is, just play with that.
Yeah, definitely. And be specific as well. I've definitely done this in the past, where you think you've got to tell a bit of a story, and I see this time and time again on sponsored ads on Facebook, where they're going through just a bit of story. Listen, I think it's great, have a bit of a story, but get to the point. Be punchy about it. A lot of people don't want to read that. A lot of analytical people are going to read it all. I don't think that I think the market has changed even more so in the last couple of years with regard to posts and stuff like that. I personally react much better to either a decent image, a decent video, a short bit of copy that tells you what it is, and then I get to it and have a look at what it is that they've got to offer, what it is they're talking about. What about you, Adrian? You're analytical. You're far more analytical than me, and you what do you prefer?
So, like I said, I tend to read those long sales forms just because I need to read them, in my industry and see exactly what they're talking about. But usually I tend to see those when I'm more of a warmer audience. So that's mean I've already interacted with one of their cold ads or one of their articles and stuff like that, which
Absolutely.
obviously was shorter or was something I was interested in. And then I see the long sales form. So like 99% of the time, it's going to be like something like you said, short, punchy, a good image, video, and all those kind of things.
I think that is a massively valid point. Massively valid point.
But going back to that, so what we actually want to tell you, it's doing that alone. It's extremely difficult.
Yeah.
Me and Elliot and everyone else that we've met, we found that. Then my clients I'm working with, we always have issues with a good graphic designer, someone that does the copywriter and all this. So again, if you expect to hire someone to do your marketing or to help you with stuff, and you tell them, okay, you come up with the visual ideas, right? You create the video, you create the graphic design for this, you're gonna do the copywriting for that ad and all this. There's not one guy, there's not just you cannot do that just alone. You need a team for that.
Yeah.
So that's what we have realized. That's what we're working on, and that's what we think it's required in almost any business to have a higher success. To start having success.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, we what we're talking about tonight is a very sort of open chat about a few things to create some unique content. What we are going to be doing is putting together, a PDF document, something easy for you guys to download. So if you're interested in this, then make sure you message us, because there are a few pointers in here that we just want to explain so that you can start looking at these things before you start wanting to create the unique content. And then we're going to give you some ideas on how to create that. And if this is something that you really, really struggle with, then we can actually help you to create that unique content and use our team to come up with unique content for you as well. It can be done in this form. There's lots of different ways to do it, and we call it it's omni-channel marketing these days. So there are lots of different ways to do it and lots of different channels to put it on. You've got to find the one that suits you, get that out there, get that unique content out there on those platforms, and get that to work.
And the thing is, we have worked with some big companies, like really big companies, and that's what we realized. So every big company that is successful, or let's say, okay, even medium companies, right? They have a team like this, and that's the only way how they can do it. Because otherwise, asking someone to do everything, it's usually, like I said, I'm not a very creative guy, or especially with the copywriting, I'm not good at all. Rather than me having to spend about 5 hours coming with a really good ad copy and titles and stuff like that, I can have someone that does it maybe in 15, 20 minutes, just because they're used with that and they know the market and all that stuff, and then I'm going to be way more efficient, than if I would have to do everything.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're going to be letting everybody know a little bit more about that as the next couple of weeks go on, aren't we, Adrian? We're excited.
Yeah, we're testing loads of things, guys, and that's the plan. You also need to find what's right for you. It's a very thorough process and a very time-consuming process, finding the right team for you, finding the right people to work with you on that. And also, you need to have a really good plan before this, because you need to give the directions. Yeah, maybe I'm the graphic designer and you can tell me, just do that. You know what to know. It doesn't really work like that. I've seen every successful project needs to have very, very good and clear indications of what do you want from that person.
It does. And that's what we want to help everybody with, isn't it? We want to help everybody to get ready, because marketing has changed. It's changed even more so this year. Everything was online anyway. Virtually 90% of marketing is done online. So I may be wrong as in figures, but I would have thought these days it pretty well is. Even though there are physical magazines and things like that, because people like to read them, generally most of the stuff is done online: PPC, SEO, digital marketing, websites, social media, etc., etc. So what we want to do is we want to make sure people are ready. Are they omni ready? Are you ready to actually look at what you can do? Because as we've said before, we've had this conversation in doing other podcasts. And in fact, the first few that we did when we were talking about different bits and pieces about free things to help you, go back to those, listen to those podcasts, watch those podcasts, whatever you want to do. There are tools there that are free that you need to have in place. If your business has been running for 10 years and you don't have some of those things in place, you may not be ready for this new world of business. You may not be ready to get yourself out there. And there's different branding, as I said at the beginning of the show. There's your personal brand, there's your company branding, and there's your product branding as well. Your product and service branding, whatever it is that you offer out. There are 3 different things there that you can work on, and everybody wants to see all of those coming from a business these days. And if they've got that, then you're likely to find. If you know what your target audience is, and you know what your product and service is, and you've got that niche and you've got that differentiator, then the likelihood is if you get that right and put it out there, you are going to find those customers that you never ever would have come across in just walking down the street, passing your building, passing your office, or getting people on the phone or doing emails. So there's loads of things, and we want to help everybody with getting themselves ready, omni ready, and of course, ready for everything when it comes to the new world of business and marketing. We could go.
What we want from you, well, actually, we want to know. So if you have these issues, right? If you're struggling to create content, if you're struggling to get the right images, videos, copywriting, and all those kind of things, if you ever thought, because let's just think a bit. We're gonna take a blog article. You want to write a blog article. Obviously, you need to come up with a good image there for that. You need to come up with a good copywriting, and that can be repurposed anyway on every platform. So you can take that image, put it on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever you want, wherever you want. The headline of that article, again, that's going to be the headline on your social media. So that's why it needs to be done in a really good way. With me, I'm struggling all the time with this, just because I'm very, very analytical. It needs to make sense in my head, and I always think, well, this would actually make me click on that article or on that ad or whatever it is. And it takes me a lot, to come up with these things.
Well, I mean, why don't we put together some sort of checklist that might help people to sort of to pinpoint a few things that might make it a bit easier to sort of list down some ideas and sort of make them a little bit different, make them realize what they should be looking at, because it's easily said when you're working with somebody. But we're not going to get to talk to everybody that's listening and watching. But we may have. Should we produce something that might help?
Yeah, we can, and we can just send everyone in our chatbot, and then they can take the checklist from there.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Oh well, we'll tell you what. We'll talk about this more on another show. But yeah, listen. I think it's good to talk about these things. I'm always interested in your opinion on stuff as well. Often different to mine because of the way we both think, which is good. Because that means there's going to be plenty of people that do the same. But we'll hope that you've got some bits and pieces from this evening that might help you to think slightly differently. And if you do want some help, then we're going to be putting something together for you after this show. Not tonight necessarily, and we'll let you know about how you can get hold of that to help you as well. We've got some other bits and pieces coming for you in the very, very near future, and I'm sure we're going to be breaking that news over the next couple of weeks. Hey, Adrian.
Yep, definitely.
Good stuff. Well, listen, go off and eat some more chocolate to celebrate the rest of the last couple of hours of World Chocolate Day.
Chocolate.
I've had none now, so I'm going to go and treat myself to some chocolate now. I like it with nuts in it. What's your favourite chocolate, Adrian? What do you like?
Yeah, I like it with peanuts as well.
Do you?
And raisins sometimes.
Nice.
Yeah.
A whole nut chocolate. Love it. One of my favourite things. And noisettes as well, and sort of that Nutella.
Nutty flavor.
Like Nutella? Like Nutella as well?
Not. It's a bit too sweet for me. But Fabi, she's a big lover of Nutella.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not sweet enough, so that's why it works for me quite well.
And I also like chocolate with orange sometimes,
Yeah, chocolate orange. Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I'm going to go and stuff my face full of chocolate now, just because it's World Chocolate Day, because otherwise I wouldn't, obviously.
Yeah, just be careful tomorrow where the podcast is not going to come just full of chocolate around your mouth.
I do wash in between podcasts, I mean.
Okay, good. That's good to know, yeah.
Listen, I'm hoping you guys have got something from tonight. We have got a guest on tomorrow, so look out tomorrow for that.
If you haven't got, just tell us, all right? No problem. Just tell us, guys, you're shit, and I don't like this, and we're gonna try to fix it.
Yeah. Listen. I'm happy for that sort of feedback. But thank you very much for joining us this evening, whether you've been watching or listening. If you've been watching on YouTube, then make sure if you're driving and you want to still listen to this, then you can get the podcast and you can find that wherever you get your podcasts, or you can download the free app, the Essex Business Radio app, available at all good app stores. And of course, if you're listening to this, I've just mentioned YouTube, then you can see this on YouTube, or you can tune in on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings at 9 p.m. That time is going to be changing. We'll tell you about that over the next week or so. Where Adrian and I are usually chatting to guests, or we're just chatting amongst ourselves about anything that's going to help you guys to level up. And you can catch that on Facebook, my Facebook, Adrian's Facebook, Essex Business Radio, and Forge Management went out on tonight, and we went out on YouTube again. Adrian, just to please the people that said, where the hell have you gone?
The audience requested it, so we had to listen to the audience. Yeah, YouTube, it's there. Yeah.
Okay, so thanks very much for joining us again, and look forward to catching up with you tomorrow. You can find us pretty well everywhere on social media, Essex Business Radio, apart from Twitter, which is Essex Biz Radio, BIZZ. Thanks very much, Adrian Dorobantu. Thank you for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Elliot.
No problem at all. So we're going to sign off for now. And what do I say? Ciao for now.
Brown cow.